Hello, everybody. Welcome to my new weekly review of previous week. So last week I only took one trade. This was AUDJPY on the 6th of December. So it was a minus 1% trade. The only trade I took that week on my real account. You can see the last couple of weeks were not that good. I could also not take a lot of trades. Only 2 weeks ago, I could take here more trades. This was more losses than wins, but it was there just a minus 1%. And you can see I had previous week minus 1%, 2 weeks ago minus 1%, and 3 weeks ago minus 1%. And you could um, get more percent out of it. You can see you could end positively, but you can see the differences are not that big. So if you had a lot of focus and discipline, then you could had potential good months. But yeah, here it was a maybe one trade missed or something like that, and then you had here your minus 1% week. So it's not a lot of difference, but just feedback. So we are in slow market, so it's important that we don't rush trades. We only take high setup potential trades. This is important because this is the key to success to succeed in trading, let's say. So we will go over the first trade, AUDJPY. I will open the weekly chart. So I will delete this. I will open the daily chart. So daily, then the 4 hour, like that. So we'll go over the daily first. So on the daily, what can you see? Which pattern I had was a big bullish M. So we had here our first leg, second leg, third leg, fourth leg. So for me, it's a big bullish M because it was, yeah, a trade of 1 month till it could potentially play out. So, and you can see the third leg is way more impulsive here than the fourth leg. It took a lot of more days. For me, it's a big bullish M. It's a really big one. Um, so we needed to have a pattern. So I will go over now the weekly. What can you see on the weekly chart? On the weekly, we are still bullish. On the weekly, we had here this low, this new high, low, new high. So it's a big bullish M. You can also divide it in smaller bullish M's. You can divide this as a low and this is a high. This you could take a fib from this low till this high, then the fib levels were around here, 61.80, 78.60. So it was a fib for us. Then the trend was for us. So we have here the trend for us, candle close here for us because this week came all the way back up more than a half of that low week till that high. So for me, it's yeah, a clear also a support region which acted here as resistance support. So for me, this candle close is for us. So this is 2 out of 4. Then the fib, you could take also the smaller fib from this low till this high. Then the fib levels were touched on these lows. So this was already a 3 out of 4. And then the supply and demand on here acting as resistance, support, potential support. So it was a 4 out of 4 trade. So really nice setup to take. So I will go now back to the daily. The daily was here clear, the big bullish M. Then on the 4 hour, what can you see on the 4 hour? You had your first leg, second leg, third leg, fourth leg. And I wanted to take the trade on that first structure resistance that could become support here. So this was the previous structure I see resistance that could become support here. I just set at my limits. Trade was triggered and it went to the downside. So it was a good trade, nothing to do about it because I want to take it till that daily previous structure, supply and demand zone, selling zone here where the 4 hour TP is aligning. So this was a good uh, trade to take. So this was a trade I only took. So I will go over now the missed trades and I will explain something about the missed trades. So I had here 4 missed trades. I had 4 pullback trades. This is a new thing, new strategy I'm testing. It's also called the first time break on the daily. So it's more for advanced traders. So I will go over it. So Eurocat was the first one we could take. It was a 3 out of 4 to go long on the weekly, around 7 o'clock in the morning. I also said that here my new TP strategy is around the 2.5%. I will take fully partials out, and here is just back the old TP settings around the 4-hour TP. I will take 1/3 out, and at the daily TP, I take 2/3 out. So this is the calculation about that, and this is the 2.5% fully TP. So the first one you will get. I will open the charts weekly, daily, 4-hour because this was a break-even trade. So what can you see for that pullback trade? We were making here higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, and then we got that first time break. So I will go over it again. This was our higher low, higher high. We got that break. So when we got that first time break, you can see we can then draw here a line, and then we want to take here a trade or here a D cell or pattern if we have a buying zone, because we don't trade diesel. We only trade diesel if you have a buying zone on daily, because here there was no buying zone, so you couldn't take it. Here also not, so you could only trade a pattern. So what I want to see mostly of the time is a buying zone or a weekly buying zone, supply and demand zone. And you got here your weekly buying zone if we go to the weekly, but we will go first for it. So you can draw your horizontal line when we break it for the first time here. So, because when we tap that, and we want to take, so if we have here 4-hour bullish M, and we tap this line, that previous structure low from the daily, and we make that bullish M, there is a high potential that this trade just goes to the downside because this was clear support and it found some resistance. So this is really important to draw these horizontal lines when we break a previous higher low. So we drew it here and we drew it here because we broke it here. So as you can see, we touched it here. And this is a key thing. I drew this horizontal line on the previous higher low when we break further to the downside, and we tapped it and then we went to the downside. So it's really important to draw these lines. So let's see now where I did take my trade from that weekly perspective. So from a weekly perspective, we had a 3 out of 4 to go long. The trend is still bullish. We had our first leg, second leg, third leg. We are between these highs and these lows, and here potential some supply and demand zone here that can hold the price back up for potentially going more to the downside. Or yeah. So what can we see? We had our trend with us, candle close was against us. This was a massive red candle, is against us. Then the fib from this low till this high was for us, or this fib from this low till this high was for us. So you have two fibs in your advantage. And then the supply and demand zone here acting as potential support, which it did for the first time. Then here some support again, resistance, false break, potential small resistance here. It didn't tap it, but yeah, I can see it as resistance. So it's a supply and demand zone. So we had 3 out of 4. So if I go now over the 4-hour, what can you see on the 4-hour? You can see we had here our first leg, second leg, third leg, fourth leg. So when we tap that weekly buying zone, I want to see if we got a pattern. And we received one. We had here our first leg, second leg, third leg, fourth leg. I just took my limit. Here we had our break-even trade. So that was good to take. So then we had here our break-even. We tapped perfectly that previous daily higher low here, previous structure. And then we went to the downside. So this is the importance of a daily touch of that previous structure. So yeah. So then the second trade, Euro CHF, if I go over and I will open a weekly, daily, 4-hour, because this was also a break-even trade. So if I go over the daily, what can you see on the daily? We broke this previous higher low. This was our higher high. You can also see this is the same high. So this is your higher low. So it's the same. So we broke it here impulsively. And where we want to take a trade is at clear daily buying zone. So We went to the downside, and here we have a clear buying zone. We have also a weekly buying zone aligning with that. So I wanted to see if we got here a trade. I also took here a daily horizontal line because we broke it a little bit. We closed a little bit below it. So I want to see on that 4 hour um, what we did there. So I will go over the 4 hour, and what could you see here? On the 4 hour, we had one candle, the second candle, the third candle closing back above it, which is a must that we close back above it. And then you could take your diesel trade, one candle in between is still valid, and then we could take the trade and it went break even. So this was a trade I also took on demo because I'm still testing that strategy. If I go over the weekly now, you can see that we had 1 out of 4, which is still accepted to take the pullback trades or first time breaks because I tested that the 1 of 4 criteria is enough because we have still that weekly buying zone, weekly lows here. If we have that for us, I want to take this. It's the supply and demand zones are really nice holding a lot of times. So with the pullback trades, first time break. So that's why I want to take also 1 of 4 criteria only on the pullback trades. So you can see this line is really nice, and that's why I also had here that 4 hour nice tap of it, and you can see it works. We had the tap of that weekly buying zone, the buyers got triggered, we had a diesel, and it went to the upside, but it didn't succeed for a long time. So this was yeah, the pullback trades like this. Yes, yes, this was it. Um, so I take it on demo. I need to copy it because this was a copy of that. So it was 1 out of 4, 1% break even. Then the third trade USD CAD, I will open it weekly, daily, 4 hour. Then you have some couple of examples on the daily chart. What can you see? Previous higher low, higher high. We broke it here. We got here an IC in between, so we touch or we want to draw this previous low IC here, this line. So we have here a weekly buying zone because we tapped it here. The weekly buyers were sitting here. We have no clear daily buying zone. Actually, we have a clear daily buying zone. This was also a daily buying zone. So actually, I could draw also my daily zone here. Maybe this was deleted, but this is also clear buying zone on daily. You can see it, supply and demand zone here, buyers. So I will go over that. Um, yes, that weekly chart now. So on the weekly, what can you see? We had 3 out of 4. We had the trend for us, this big bullish M. We had for us, we tapped the weekly lows. This is a clear supply and demand zone acting as resistance, support, false breaks here, support, support, support. So it's a very nice supply and demand zone. So that's why I want to take it to the upside. And if you go on the 4 hour, you can see you had here a potential shoulder 1 here, had shoulder 2. This is a trade I could take, but I found that I find that my risk reward was not that good till a daily IC, but yeah, normally we'll take it till daily head and shoulders. So actually, then till here it was a good RR, but for here taking some partials out, it was not good for me. So because that potential daily IC was sitting here, as you can see, this daily IC was sitting here, so I want to take fully partials out here. But yeah, I could take it till a shoulder 1, also had shoulder 2. So this could be a trade I could take if I placed my stop loss um, below this head, just the normal pip count, 10 pips. Yes. So this could be a nice trade. You could take here 0.8% out with a normal TP strategy, or you could take 2.5% fully out, which I normally do. So this could be a 2.5% trade. Then Euro NZD. If I go to the weekly, daily, and then the 4 hour, this could also be a break-even trade. Um, yes. So I will go over the daily. What can you see on the daily? We had here again this higher low, higher high. We broke it. We wanted to see a clear daily buying zone. We had here a daily uh, buying zone. You can see we tapped it here. And plus that, above that, we have that weekly buying zone. So we had the daily buying zone and the weekly buying zone with 3 out of 4 criteria to go along. So I will go now over that weekly chart. This is the weekly. I copy it. I think it's the same. Yeah, no, this is the clear one. So on the weekly, what can you see? Yet here your resistance, support, nice IC, shoulder one, support, support, support. So for me, it was a clear buying zone because that IC sitting there and it followed that zone very nicely with that resistance. So for me, it's also a buying zone. Um, and you had here your potential double bottom, false break, potentially, which didn't play out. So yeah. So we had 3 out of 4. The trend is bullish. We had your first leg here, second leg, third leg, then a fourth leg coming back here. Here your supply and demand zone acting nicely. Candle close was against us. This is a really massive red candle, so this was against us, and then the flip levels from this low, you can also take it till this high, and then it's in the flip levels. And also the supply and demand zone, so 3 out of 4. So then the daily was clear. You can see this, the 4 hour was a diesel trade also. So this diesel trade could also be a break even. So you had your um, first first candle, second candle, third candle. You had one candle in between, 2 candles in between. You can also take it with 2 candles in between. My limit was still standing, and then on the fourth candle, the touch of the diesel box, then my trade was triggered, and we went to the upside for 1%. I just went break even, and it was over 1%. It was around 1.5, 1.6, and then I just got break even, and then the trade went to the downside. This was possibly because your weekly, um, I think your weekly previous low here was tapped. That's why it found some resistance here for potentially going more to the downside. Yes. So this was my missed trades week. A lot of pullback trades. This is a key lesson for you guys. It's more for advanced traders, but you can also use it and take these trades if you backtested it and feel comfortable to take these trades. So I hope you have a nice trading week and see you next week. Bye.